Good morning. Yes, it's still morning for 6 more minutes. Great morning, everyone. We are continuing the discussion on surrendering and surrendering to start healing, surrendering for our emotional well-being, surrendering for the transformation we desire to go from hurting to healing to happiness, surrendering. So while Facebook brings you all in, I'm going to take a moment to share on my page, and then we're going to get started. So you can go ahead and invite your sister friends to the discussion, and also get prepared to take a few notes. And we're going to kick it all in. I got some great nuggets to share with you today. And I'm excited. I always get excited when I have an opportunity to share with my sisters around the globe, especially when it allows them to grow. So glad that came up. I can do that. And that is done. Okay. And as always, if I don't see your comments during the conversation, I will definitely go back and respond to them after the video is concluded. But I want to try, my goal is to stay focused, so we're only together for about 30 minutes or less, but to give you the message focusing on surrendering. And it's the basis of our emotional pain. So, yesterday we talked about surrendering means to have no strong emotion about a thing. It's okay if it happens, and it's okay if it doesn't. Surrendering is about releasing and allowing yourself to flow and just simply let it go. Release your attachment to the outcome. And there was a great about when you're able to surrender, you immediately start to feel lighter, you feel happier. It's almost like a natural high. You remember that song, Take the Sky on a Natural High? Allow yourself to have a natural high. So, here's a couple of nuggets that I came across, and then I'm going to dive in deep, and I'm going to give you a few action steps that you can actually take as you begin your journey of surrendering. The messages is that I've highlighted here, they're always very thought-provoking. It all depends on how you choose to look at it, but it's always thought-provoking. And sometimes you have to go back and reread it. It's like a movie that you've seen multiple times, and every time you see the movie, you catch something different. Or every time you see the movie, the impact is different. Well, the reason that happens is because we're growing. You have life challenges that come around. You have books that you've read. You have movies that you've seen. You have classes that you've used for your personal and professional development. And so you're consistently growing. So what you may have viewed with one set of eyes the first go round, when you go and view it again, all of a sudden you see it with different eyes. I know I get that feeling every time I've watched The Color Purple. I get one message out of it when I've seen it, I don't know how many years ago, 10, 15 years ago. And then when I start viewing it more recently, the message comes across a little bit differently. And it comes across different because it's in the space that I'm in at the time that resonates with me. The same thing when it comes to books. People always say, you constantly refer people to the mastery of love. And when I suggest reading The Mastery of Love, I ask my clients to read it from the perspective of loving themselves, the first go round. And then when you read it again, read it from the perspective of loving other people, the other people you're inviting into your life, who you want to love on and who you want to love on you. Every time I've read that book, from front to cover, from cover to cover, from front to back, I've always gotten a different message out of that book. So now let's talk about the mechanisms of letting go, the mechanisms of surrendering, and what it means. It says, we carry around with us a huge reservoir of accumulated negative feelings, attitudes, and beliefs. We consistently carry them around. It makes us miserable and is the basis of many of our illnesses and our problems. You ever see, some people often say, I'm experiencing anxiety. The things that I remember, as I shared yesterday about being in a job and not wanting to be there anymore. And whenever I would pull in the parking lot, all of a sudden my stomach would get in knots because I knew I didn't want to go there. I knew I no longer had the desire. My heart was never there, but I had to go there because I had to pay the bills. So I was holding accumulated negative feelings that how I felt about the job and how I felt about some of my colleagues in the job. And so it says, everyone's self-esteem is constantly threatened by both the within and the without. So we have a lot of stuff, aka shit, within us that is wreaking havoc on our body. And then we have external forces that are wreaking havoc. People, situations, things, everything going on external to us. We have become afraid of our inner feelings because they hold such a massive amount of negativity that we fear we would be overwhelmed by it if we were to take a deeper look. We have a fear, everybody write the word fear in the comments, of these feelings because we have no conscious mechanism by which to handle the feelings if we were to let them come up within ourselves. Fear. It is not thoughts or facts that are painful, but the feelings that accompany them. That's a word. It is not thoughts or facts that are painful, but the feelings that accompany them. There are three major ways of handling feelings: suppression, expression, escape. Write those three words down. Suppression, expression, escape. So, as I mentioned a few minutes ago, I was talking about the mastery of love and the way that Don Miguel Ruiz guides you in that book to start working through the things that no longer bring you joy, to start working through your own personal healing process. And it all focuses on three words. Everybody write this with me: truth, forgiveness, and love. Truth, forgiveness, and love. In order for you to start really becoming comfortable with surrendering, truth, forgiveness, and love. Truth, forgiveness, and love. Now, the way that he describes those particular words is truth. Truth is opening up the emotional wound. Opening up the emotional wound, having the guts to say, I need to address this. See, sometimes we ask other people, or we desire to have from other people, we want them to apologize what they may have said or done to us. But at the end of the day, you have to ask yourself, does their apology have that much of an impact on you? Does their apology make you feel any better, or does it say is it just an okay? So when you open up the wound, it's like taking a knife or it's taking a scalpel and opening up and revealing what's inside, revealing the emotional pain, the emotional trauma that you have been carrying around that's been hurting you instead of healing you. That's your truth. Being able to verbally speak what your truth is, unapologetically. And there is the forgiveness. The forgiveness is you cleaning out that emotional wound. And it's more so about forgiving yourself versus forgiving other people. That's the way I view it. I need to forgive myself for choosing to hold on to this shit longer, to forgive myself for choosing or being unwilling to work through the process to begin healing from it. I need to forgive myself for not focusing on my well-being. Forgiveness. But the main component of this journey is love. The main component is love. Love is the strong medicine that you need to pour into that wound in order to start healing. See, we keep saying, I want someone to love me. I want someone who's going to make me happy. I want them to love me. But how can that happen if you have not gone deep inside to start loving yourself? How can that happen if you're still holding on to a situation that may have happened years and years and years ago? You may still be holding on some past emotional pain from high school, from college, of somebody who did you wrong. And now you are asking another person to come in and to make you happy and to love you. And they're competing with something they had nothing to do with in order to love you and make you. You see, that's the struggle when I'm working with you all, is like, you're going to have to be willing to let those not so positive situations go, release them out of your life if you truly want to be healed. You're going to have to be willing to cut the cords if you truly want to be healed. You cannot keep blaming John for what Tommy did if you truly want to be healed. You're going to have to start doing things differently. It's going to require a mindset set shift to start thinking differently. You can't blame everybody else for what one person did to you. That's the challenge of surrendering. We keep reflecting back on not so positive situations, negative, bad, painful. They made you angry. They made you bitter. You're still holding on to it. And we constantly tell ourselves, I never want to be in that situation again. But you don't want to be in it, but you're still holding on to it. So how do you get through it if you're unwilling to even take the first step? Fear is still controlling you. And as I shared yesterday, in every area of your life. Every area of your life. And sometimes you feel that if you surrender, you're giving up your power. No. You're still in control of you. But ask yourself, go deep inside, ladies. Check in with her and be like, girl, do you truly want to be happy? Or do you want to walk this earth being miserable? It always amazes me when people wake up angry. How do you wake up angry, upset, bitter? What is so hard that what happened in the 8 to 12 hours that you were supposed to be resting, that you open your eyes and you're angry. What are you allowing to have that much power over you versus you having power over it? And do you really want happiness and joy in your life? Or do you just want to walk around being miserable? Life is too short. Only get one life. It's essential that you start living it to the best of your ability. It ain't like this could be your last day. This could be your last second. We never know when our season comes to an end. We never know. I've shared this story on several occasions. "20 years ago, in October of 1999, someone invaded my space of peace. They felt comfortable enough to enter my home without permission. They felt comfortable enough to walk around my home, touching my things. They felt comfortable enough to look in my son's room and close his door. And they felt comfortable enough to enter my bedroom and attempt to rape me. And for a period of time, I lived in discomfort, a baseball bat beside my bed, and a knife under my pillow. Concerned for the safety of my son and I. From that point forward, I never felt safe in a space that I had created of peace. But here's the thing, ladies. 20 years later, I could still allow that one situation to wreak havoc over my life. But I chose not to, because I'm still here living and breathing, and there's someone who needs me. So once I was able to get out of that space and create a new safe space of peace, I chose to continue living. That negative situation created positive situations in my life. A space where I thought I would never ever own a home because of being young and dumb, transitioned to me signing multiple papers of a space that was going to be mine. or the banks. The opportunities that came after were aligned for me. Because you see, it was, we need to make you uncomfortable. Here we go again. So you can get comfortable. We don't want you to stay here. We need to get you here so you can see what we are capable of doing. We just need you to surrender and let us do our work. But somewhere in the back, I was still holding on to it. Because in 2010, to the date, I get a phone call from my son. Mom, there's bees in your room. And I'm like, okay, kill them. There's a lot of bees in your room. And I'm like, okay. Close the door, put a towel at the base of my door, and when I get home, I'll look at it. I get home, it was like a beehive was in my bedroom, in my walk-in closet, all throughout the house, all throughout my bedroom. And I had to call our HOA to go up in my attic to see what's going on. And, you know, you put stuff in the attic and you forget about it. So there were boxes up there. Not a lot, just a few, because I'm not a hoarder. And I said, oh, you're going up in the attic. Let me go up there and get some boxes down. I bring some boxes down. Bring 2 boxes down. Y'all know my number is 2. What is up with that number 2? And the guy goes, yeah, there's a beehive in your attic. It's coming in through the little vent, and they built a nest, and they're eating through the ceiling. So that's how the bees got in the ceiling, got in my bedroom. So he cleaned it out, we got the bees out, but then I had to go through the boxes. I open up the box, one box, and I go about less than a quarter of a way down through papers. And what's there? The police report from when the person had broken into my apartment. I was sleeping with it over my head for 10 years. I'm calling my bestie like, girl, what am I supposed to do with this? I said, let me tell you what happened. Let me tell you about the bees. You know what today is? All this. My bestie was like, you don't need it, Tina. Get rid of it. But what? She said, it's been 10 years. Get rid of it. I took it to work and I shredded it. I don't live there anymore. I surrendered. We have to choose not to allow certain situations in our life, certain people in our life to continue to live rent-free in our head, because what can happen is it can wreak havoc over your life. If I had stayed there, sat beside my bed, a knife under my pillow, you know the probability of my son entering my room and jarring me from my sleep and me hurting him? I just needed to be safe. We needed to be safe. And so I had to be willing to surrender that This was just one isolated situation that made me, and I was going to be okay. I had the choice. Either you're going to stay emotionally there or you're going to get emotionally out of it. I couldn't stay there. You've already removed me from the situation. Now I got to mentally remove myself from the situation. You've been physically removed from the situation. You now emotionally and mentally have to remove yourself from the situation. Do I know when it happens? Yes. Every year, October 10th, it clicks in my head and then I let it go. Every year since that date, I don't do Halloween. There's a sign on my door, no candy here. I just don't. But I'm doing things to be sure that I always stay comfortable emotionally. I can't live back there. It serves me no purpose. I got the message. I moved on. I surrendered. Did I know all of this back then? Hell no. It is me processing a lot of what has transpired in my life to see how the universe, i.e. for some people, God, pulls me out of situations. What do you want in your life? And see, the one thing that bothers me, or I don't know, I get all in my feelings when people say, oh, Tina, you make everything sound so easy. It isn't supposed to sound easy or hard. It's the initiative to take action. All you got to do, everybody write this down for me, is take one step. One step. Just to see. Go ahead. It's the pool. You're afraid to get in the pool because you're thinking you're going to drown. You're in 3 inches, 3 feet of water, and you 5 feet. Put your toe in the water. If you want different in your life, put your toe in the water. Take one step. It feels good. Trust me. It feels so good that when shit still happens in your life, you already know, oh, that's not hard. That's light work. I can get over this because I've already been through some things. I've already had some negative you to give me something harder. But the challenge is you're so emotionally attached to it that you can't see your way out of it. That's why I can make it. I'm like, I'm gonna need y'all to give me some. Every time I have a coaching session or a consultation with someone, and I give them this visualization, and I'm telling them, okay, this isn't hard. You're just in your way, and you're making it harder. Attachment to it, and whatever that attachment is, you think it's comfort, but it's discomfort. Whatever that attachment is. It's the fear, but it's the fear of the unknown. But you have to ask yourself, is it rational fear or is it irrational fear? Is it something you've made up in your mind, or is it something that you know for a fact? And if you know it for a fact that it happened to you before repeatedly, that you're like, nah, I ain't messing with that. That don't work for me. That's your new word, surrender, ladies. You want something different in your life? Dip your toe in the water and surrender. So, as we continue this journey of surrendering, the next time we come together, we're going to talk about suppression expression, and escape. As always, if I can serve you, I encourage you to go to my website, tinachines.com, and set up a consultation. If this message spoke to you, share it with 5 friends. Inspire them as well. I want to wish you all an amazing day until we meet again. Take care.